Hi friends, let's continue our journey into the process synchronization. Here we are looking at three classic problems of process synchronization. In the previous session we have seen about the bounded buffer problem, where two processes, one creating the data, want to transmit to the other one which receives the data, are synchronized through a common buffer, shared buffer, and the buffer size was bounded, and hence the two processes have to be synchronized such that they work only one at a time. Either producer or the consumer can work at a time to share the resource, and on the other hand, producer can produce only when there is some space left to write onto the shared resource, and the consumer should be allowed to read only when there is some data written onto the buffer. So this synchronization we have to take care. Now coming to the next problem, we have a reader-writer problem, which is a little modified than the previous one, where we have multiple readers, multiple writers, and we have a common buffer like thing. So when we have multiple readers, multiple writers, then how these processes can be synchronized is what we have to see now. So the problem is to coordinate the access to a shared resources like a file or a database such that multiple readers can read simultaneously. Yes, reading doesn't change the data, therefore we can allow multiple processes to read simultaneously. Doesn't make any inconsistency in the data, so that's possible. So we can make sure that the process can be speed up. If multiple processes are trying to read simultaneously, then we can give all of them chance to read simultaneously, so that in one shot all can read that, or otherwise we have to give one after other, then it's going to unnecessarily waste everyone's time and delay it. So we can allow parallel reading because they are not going to create any problem with the data. But when it comes to writing, of course, yes, when we are writing data onto the shared resource, then only one writer should be allowed at any given time, and while writing, the data will not be in a consistent state, and hence no reader also should be allowed to read the data. So when one process is trying to write the data, then we should ensure that no other process is allowed to write at the same time, and at the same time we should ensure that no reader is also allowed to read it, because while writing the consistency of the data may not be through, so we have to wait till the writing process is complete. So the constraints for this problem, many readers can read at once, so we need to allow multiple readers to read at a given time. Then only one writer can write at any time, and when a writer is writing, no reader can read and no writer can write. That means we are allowing multiple readers to read. Then if we want to allow any writer to write, then first thing is we must ensure that no reader is currently reading, so that we need to look. So to know that no reader is reading, then somewhere we need to make a count of how many we have allowed to read and all that. So there has to be some reader count. Every time a new reader is allowed to read any shared resource, that count has to be updated, incremented, and when any process stops reading that, then that count has to be updated, decremented. And whenever a writer wants to use that shared resource, then we should ensure that the reading count is 0, only then allow it. So that's one side. Other side is either reader or writer has to work simultaneously, and we have something called read count, and then for that we need to make sure that the read count should be updated whenever the number of readers change, and this updation has to be done at the atomic level, otherwise again consistency problem arise. So how can we do? So one option is give priority to the readers or writers. So give readers higher priority, because multiple readers can take up simultaneously, then we can think of giving high priority to the readers. But the problem here is the readers come and go, come and go, come and go, and every time readers come they get a chance immediately to start reading, and the writer who wants to write has a lower priority, so keeps waiting and waiting and waiting, and definitely the writers may starve. On the other hand, if writers are given priority, then when a reader is reading it and when the writer wants to write something, the reader is stopped, the writer comes in. So this way what could happen is readers may starve. So we have to find out some way out that neither reader nor writer starve, and each get their share in a proper way, and that is what this problem is all about, and we'll see how this can be solved. So this can be solved using what we call a semaphore, and here we are using three semaphores, one mutex. This is used for synchronizing the access of the reader count. So there is a reader count, and that reader count is a shared variable, and every time a process tries to read, then it has to update the reader count, and every time the process stops reading any shared resource, then it has to decrement that reader count. So this has to be done by the processes. That means all the processes should have access to this. What make sure that consistency of this variable is maintained, because it is shared, then it has to be done at atomic level. The updations of the read count has to be done at atomic level. So to maintain atomicity, the mutex is a semaphore used for the same. Then we have read-write mutex, that is to lock the shared resources whenever we are going for writing. So whenever we are writing, then we make sure that we use read-write mutex, and we have a shared data, that is a read count, which keeps track of how many readers are reading. That means when we want to get into the writing mode, then we must ensure that no reader is still active. So the last reader also comes out of the reading mode, only then writer can start writing it. And once writer starts writing, of course we will not allow readers to enter, but before making sure that writer starts writing, all readers are out of their reading activity. So that is taken care by this read count. So how that is done? So let's look at the reading side first. So before getting into the reading, so first let us say that I want to read, the process wants to read a shared resource, therefore it has to first increment the read count. So to increment the read count, which is a shared variable, we must first lock it. So let us lock the read count variable using the mutex. So use wait, and then if we are allowed to, then get into and increment the read count, and if read count is 1, that means the first reader logs the writer out. Then wait for read write mutex. So log. So when a first reader comes in, then make sure that no more writer comes on the way, because reading is going on. And then we signal the mutex, because we updation of the read count variable is complete, therefore we signal the mutex, and then we start reading it. And once reading is done, then again we want to update the read count, reduce the read count by 1, because this process is no more reading it, so we have to decrement that read count. So to decrement that read count, which is a shared variable, first we uh, catch hold of that and make sure that no others disturb it. So get a mutex of that, lock of that, and then decrement the read count. And if read count has become 0, that means no more process is reading. Then you can signal the read write mutex. If any writer is waiting, then give a message to the writer that yes, now you can continue your writing process, because the read count is 0. That means no process is in reading mode now. And if any writing process is waiting, then this signal RW mutex will give a signal to the writing process which was waiting to continue its writing action. And the signal mutex, that means the modification of the read count is complete. So now we release the read count variable. Lock on the read count is opened and is free for others to use again. So overall, if I want to write something on if I want to read from the shared resource, I am ready to read. I am free to read only when it is not writing. Therefore, first thing is check the read count, increment it. So while incrementing, make sure that a lock is placed on the read count. So wait mutex, and then if read count is 1, that means there somebody is reading it. Then wait the read write, that means the writer processes have to wait now, and then signal the mutex. So the read count variable is free for updation. Some other can start reading it. Then this process continues to read, and once it completes its reading activity, then it can come out of that and say that I have done. So again, decrement the read count. For doing that, take the lock of the read count, lock it, update it, and release it after it's done. But if read count after decrementing has become 0, that means now I know that I was the last process which was reading that shared variable. No more process is now reading it. That's what read count checking equal to 0 is all about. And if we know that it is equal to 0, that means no more process is reading it, and we just signal to the writing process, if any, waiting for their turn to write onto that shared resource. So we signal that, and then we signal the mutex and release that read count 1. Now looking at the writing side, what writing process can do. So first, make sure to capture the whole shared resource, never allow anyone else. Therefore, wait till that shared resource is free. So use read write mutex. If it is free, then lock it for writing process, which means neither any process is allowed to read nor any other process to allowed to write. So no other process will now be allowed to use this shared resource even for reading or for writing. And then writing happens, and once writing is done, then we signal that writing process is over. Then any other process which wants to write can take up, or any other process which wants to read can take up. So that's how a reader-writer problem can be solved using 3 semaphores. One for taking care of the consistency of the read count, and other one for taking care that either multiple readers can be allowed or only one writer can be allowed, and so on. So that's it about this problem and the solution. Please don't forget to like this video, share this video with your friends. Have any comments, please do comment, and please never forget to subscribe to this channel. Thank you.